Well, good afternoon. It is 12:12 here. Is that a coincidence? I don't think so. Synchronicity has always been wonderfully working in my life. Of course, this is Rebecca Nichols and this is my podcast, Royal Treats. A very good afternoon, a very, very happy Christmas from me to you. And wherever you may be in the world, of course, it is Christmas Day. I'm sure it's Christmas Day where you are. And, well, happy, wonderful blessings, a beautiful day. And what I'll be thinking about today and what we'll be talking about today and over the next 12 days is really thinking about who we are as human beings and really coming back and connecting to ourselves. I've always believed my job as a coach has been able to hold space for people and really kind of facilitate a conversation, not just between me and the people that I coach, mainly between the conversations that we need to have with ourselves. I think my own journey of having coaching and having masters and having people around me that have guided me to this place is allowing me even to be able to sit there and really think about who I am and really think about where I want to go, and really think about where I've been, of course, and be proud of every little thing that I've achieved in this life and even be grateful for those mistakes and lessons I've learned. And I was thinking about really how I'm going to put these 12 days together and how I'm going to make this a really enjoyable experience for you, and also just kind of keep you really engaged over the next 12 days so that I'm not completely boring you, which I don't think is possible, because I think once you get into this world as well, that you find it very fascinating. I've always just kind of gone deeper and deeper and deeper into what I believe is the heart and the essence of who we are as human beings, and really unlocking that potential as to what we can create here on this earth. And so I guess it being Christmas, and I guess it kind of all being associated with family and gifts and coming together and eating and celebrating this wonderful journey we call life. I'm going to start with the Root Chakra, and I think I'm going to really work on the next 7 days, first 7 days of the podcast, basing it around the chakras, because I always think, why not? I mean, you can never get enough of this stuff, guys. And so I'll be sharing you some insights, a little bit of story as to how I got into this, because I know some of you may know, and some of you might be just tuning into me from the very first time. And thank you so much for being here. It's honestly a bit of a dream come true for me stepping into this space, because I had a vision long before I knew it was even possible for me to be this person and to do the work I do. And even that vision in itself probably seemed a bit far-fetched, or it seemed a bit impossible. And so therefore, wow, it's kind of like I'm living a dream. And so therefore I really do understand what's possible for you out there, because I've been in a situation, I've been in a place of lack, and I've been in a place of fear, and I've been in a place of confusion, and I've been in a place of hurt, and I've been in a place of trauma, and I've overcome a lot of darkness in this life, but also that's part of my journey, and I don't have no shame in that, and that's where I'm more willing to be vulnerable and open, so that I can hold space for other people to be the same, and that we can really step into our lives with more bravery. There is no right or wrong. There are only different views, and I think we all need to be willing to accept that people have a different story and a different journey to us, and that we can't all think and be the same. But I think humanity is about compassion and kindness and empathy, something that I struggled with for a very long time in my own life because of the trauma that I'd experienced, and it really made me hard to a lot of things and to a lot of people, and for that I'm sorry that I had to experience that, and that people had to experience that version of me. Because hurt people do hurt people. And it wasn't until I really got to a space of gratitude for my life, and that I really stopped complaining about all the pain and all and started blaming my mum and blaming all these circumstances that have been created throughout my life, and just kind of made it, this is the stuff that happened. So how do we separate the stuff that's happened to us to who we are as human beings? How do we stop taking everything so personally, like it's a vendetta against who we are and our existence? Because we're very not in control of a lot of stuff. What we can control is how we think about ourselves, how we feel about ourselves, and obviously how we act on those thoughts and feelings. But what we can't control is other people's thoughts that they have about themselves, or even about us, their feelings towards us, or even the way they act. But we can obviously put in place boundaries, and we can obviously walk away from those things that no longer serve us, that don't align with us, who we are as human beings. And that's something that's very powerful, and something that I've really stepped into in 2017, and that I will continue to embrace in 2018. But so boundaries is something that I will definitely be talking about over the next 12 days, because I know it's something that we really need to be kind of like ninja-fied about. Be ninja-fied in your boundary making and boundary taking. So just thinking about the boundaries that you have around the people that you care for, and how you treat them, and in respecting them, but also what things that you will know that is not acceptable for you, and how you don't want to be talked to like that, or those things don't need to be brought up in this conversation, or I didn't ask for your feedback, and no, your opinion's not welcome here. We could go on and on, but I feel that's a very, very separate broadcast, and so I'll be sharing that probably later on towards the back end of the podcast series. So thank you again for being here. It's Christmas, and if you get a chance to listen to this today, then I do appreciate your time, and I will try to keep it not too long, because I appreciate you've all got things to do, food to cook, or maybe you can cook and listen to me at the same time. Yes, why not get you into that zenified mood? So the root is the root chakra. Let's talk about that, because that's where we're at now, and it's all connected to family, and it's connected to grounding, and it's really connected to support. And I think when you think about support and you think about family, it's two that come hand in hand. And not a story that I had, but I know it's a story that exists, and I know it's a story that I'm creating within my own life, within my own family dynamic. Obviously, I didn't feel very supported as a child, because my mum wasn't supported by her parents, and sometimes it's a DNA generational pattern that, unless we're very aware of ourselves, that we often don't break it. And what I mean by supporting is really like, I support you in your decisions. I support you in being who you want to be in this life, with no judgment, unconditionally, with love, because this is your journey as a being. Now, whether that be your brother, your mother, your sister, your father, your uncle, your niece, whatever, and in this dynamic, in this situation, when you're in a space, when you're surrounded by people, and we all have different views, and we all are looking at life through very different lenses, how do you support someone with love when you might not necessarily agree with the way they are living their life? Of course, it's not your place to judge anyone and how they choose to live their life. We are all on this planet with free will. We do. We have. It's us. We've got it. The power is us to do whatever we want in our lives. So when someone isn't supportive of your decisions, how does that make you feel, especially if it is a close family member? And how do then you deal with that? I mean, for me, I felt very disappointed. I felt very let down, and I kind of only really wanted and seeked approval from my mum. I just wanted her to be proud, and I think that's something that we all want in this life. I don't think it's kind of a thing that, I don't care who you are as a human being, what you believe, and what religion you are, and what background. That is something that we all require from our parents. But it doesn't always happen, does it? And so when we're not supported, and we don't feel like, we're encouraged to really focus on, who we are and what we believe, and obviously go forth with these abilities, which, we'll talk about the sacral chakra tomorrow, and we'll talk about who we are as creative beings. Then, we often get stuck. and we can't move forward in life because we don't have that foundation of support and what we really need in order to excel, in order to elevate, in order to like fly and soar, spread our wings. And so this is actually very crucial in the first 7 years of development, where your root chakra is actually being established. And again, it's the foundation of our whole entire system. It is the building block upon which all other chakras must rest. So this chakra is actually associated with earthing and grounding. And without grounding, we literally have no centre to come back to. And for some people, their upper chakras can be completely too open, so that they'll have vision and they'll have clarity and they'll be like, yes, I'm God, I'm goddess, I'm creating this reality, I am a divine. They'll feel really strong and powerful in their solar plexus, or they'll be full of love, but they might have too much love and they'll be giving it to too many people, and so they won't be coming back to themselves enough in order to get that grounding on that real foundation. So this is where kind of like being out in nature really helps me. Kind of just spending time on my own and centering myself, working with certain oils really helps me, like frankincense, myrrh, sandalwood. I'm actually burning some sandalwood as we're doing this podcast now. I get myself in that zone of grounding a lot because of the work that I do, and I know I need to be centered in order, because I give a lot. Because that's what I'm here to do. But, I always need to come back to self. Always need to come back to self, and always need to check in with self constantly to know that, in many cases I am my own support, because I still don't have that support for where I need it from my mum. I mean, my dad's been absent most of my life, so, that's the story there. But my mum still really can't understand what I do, why I do what I do, and to her it's very foreign. And I believe in unseen and magic and spells and manifesting, and I talk about these things, and it's a whole different world for a lot of people, I guess. But if you're in this world and you understand how powerful it is, then you'll understand, it's not such a crazy thing to think, to believe in magic, to believe in possibility. 3 years ago I became a millionaire, and I believed I was going to win because I believed in that, it was intention. I put all that intention into believing I could win. I'll never forget it. And so this is a real strong word that I want you to take away today. And there's some other great strong words that, I'll bring up as well. When you're thinking about the root chakra, we're thinking about Kundalini energy. And the Kundalini energy is spiritual energy. This is where it resides, in the base of that chakra and the bottom of the chakra, and it rises up very powerfully through the chakras. And this is kind of very much like an awakening, and I had that awakening 3 years ago, and then with I had my third eye open and I manifested that money. So everything happens for a very good reason in your life, and there's this perfect timing. So if you're on the path, or you're in this world, or you're really just starting to try to get to understand what this is about, or you're kind of you're open, or maybe you're still a bit skeptical, the root is a very good place to start, as to really finding out who you are. So, if you have no support and stability, you might deal with a barrage of psychic energy that you might pick up around you with other people's energy. And so this is where grounding obviously completes our energy circuit, because the energy circuit and the chakra system it is a circuit, it's an energy circuit that goes all the way around your body, from the front all the way around to the back. And without it being in alignment, we can cause problems in our lives, including, sickness and stuff like that. So a few things that I would love to share with you in terms of like what you can do to awaken the root with foods and crystals and essential oils and things like that as well. Vetiver is a very good grounding oil. Cedarwood, I've mentioned frankincense, I mentioned myrrh, sandalwood, yes, definitely, patchouli, benzoin, and crystals working with like garnet, obsidian, smoky quartz. Obsidian's just one that I kind of with me all the time. But tourmaline as well is good. Anything that keeps us grounded, and protection as well, really important. And foods, red skin foods, vegetables, anything that grows in the ground, roots, cherries, plums, strawberries, red peppers, all these things, because the nutrients that we find in those foods are very good for our root chakra as well. And the other things you can do for roots are, the root is to balance your money. A good time of year to maybe balance your money or not balance your money. I mean, we're kind of spending a lot at this time of year, and sometimes you have to think to yourself, well, why am I spending so much, and what is it really about? And this is why this year I said, I'm not getting loads of gifts for Tristan. I'm going to get him one gift, and he's going to really fucking appreciate it. Sorry, but I'm very real and I'm very open. I share with you a lot, and there was times where I was just spending an awful lot of money on him. And we've had an awful lot of great experience as well. I wouldn't even say awful. I don't think that's a great word to use to put that into that context. We've had amazing experiences. We've travelled the world. He's gone to places that, stayed in hotels, cost thousands of pounds. Like, literally, we've gone and had the dream life for a very long time. And so this year we've really humbled ourselves, and we've put ourselves in a situation of kind of like, well, do we need to spend this much money? And do we really need to have all this stuff? And so I did a massive clear out at the beginning of the year. I took a lot of stuff to charity. And I said, I'm only going to buy clothes if I really need them. And so I haven't really bought much clothes this year. And Tristan I haven't bought him many gifts or many presents. And he only got one gift for Christmas, and he got me a book. Bless him. It's a really good book, actually. Ultra phenomenal stuff about different dimensions and stuff like that. Really knows how to please his mother. Because I do love to read, and you guys know that I love to read a lot. But, it's kind of like budgeting our money and looking at our finances is a really good way to stay in control of our lives, and not really competing with other beings and what they're doing and what they're spending, because I think the comparison trap is such a trap. I mean, it really is, and it can steal away our joy when we feel that we need to compete with other people, because there is no competition in this life. We're all on our own individual journeys, and you will get there when you will get there. But when you feel like you're looking at someone else and going, they've got that, I must have that, or this is the latest trend and I must buy this, you're getting caught up in a lot of consumerism and a lot of materialism, and which actually is a root chakra blockage. It really is, and I'll go into a little bit more about the blockages in a minute, and so you get an understanding, and you might be able to raise a little bit of awareness of self, so that you might think to yourself, actually, I am a little bit blocked in my root, and I've been completely balanced in my root, I've gone completely underactive in my root, and I've gone completely overactive, which would be the other way, which would be materialism. So I've experienced it all, so I know firsthand what it means to be out of balance here. And so I've been really working on the root this year to get myself into a place of, well, I have my family, I have money, I'm not lacking, I have my health, which is again really connected to the root. Health is important, and a good way of balancing the root is running. Another way of balancing the root in a physical way is to do running. And so I enjoy running. But, a balanced, if we look at what the balanced energy is, and just give some examples here. So general good health is a balanced energy. Physical well-being, security, feeling centered, grounded, fully alive, like feeling fully alive. And I think that for me, that's like present. That's really kind of like, I'm here, I'm on this planet, I'm alive, I'm experiencing life, I'm not dead yet. So, because I think when we're grounded, we're not in a space of anxiety, which can easily be done, right? Really, really, really easily be done. Because the anxiety comes when we want to be somewhere else than now, when we want to be in our future, when we want to be dreaming about that place that we're going in 2 months on holiday, or we're dreaming already of the weekend, or we're thinking, I can't wait for summer. It's these things which I think are really important, that really connect us back to self and ground us and draw us back into where we are right now. But to be honest, because I've been in that space as well, completely daydreaming and dreaming of my future, but not present to what I have and what around me and what's happening in my life in that moment, because I'm somewhere else. It's the worst place to be, because you just end up being that space all the time, dreaming. Oh, yeah, that's going to be nice. When I have that, I'll be happy. Oh, I'll be happy when I get that. Or when I hit so many million followers, and, or when I get my publishing deal, and when I coached hundreds of women. These are just things that come up in my head. I mean, and these are the things that I've had to deal with and been like, no, Rebecca, it's fine. You will have all those amazing things, but also you will appreciate them then, but also, you need to really appreciate here, now, what you've got. Then I have conversations with people, and I hear the conversations they have with themselves, and I hear the conversations they have with me. And so I'm always trying to bring awareness into every conversation I have, and really turn the conversation back into, okay, if it's not a negative thing to be daydreaming and dreaming of your future, don't get me wrong, but it's always like, well, no, you're here now. Let's appreciate now. Let's do something in the now. Let's think about what's great in your life right now. And let's really look at gratitude. So something that I'm going to be working on for you guys in January, I'm actually going to bring it out on New Year's Eve and release it. I've been working on putting it together, and it's basically 28 days of manifesting, and 28 days of gratitude really, but it will bring in some awesome things in terms of manifesting. I think gratitude changes everything, and it's definitely worked in my world. So I'll be more news to come around that and about that. And some other things that I think will be really great for you to be aware of when it comes to balanced energy. You're outgoing, you're giving, you have unlimited physical energy, because we do. And when we get into, this is why running and exercising and your health are so important in terms of your root, because an imbalance is, I know so many people that are so hungry for money. God bless you, it's great. I'm not, it's not a bad thing. But then, if you're working all these hours to make money, to build your career, to be successful, especially as an entrepreneur, and I get it, but you're not taking care of yourself, you're not taking care of your health. You can achieve all this money and you can have all this success, but if you have your health, you have nothing. And so I'm always bringing it back to your health. It's the only thing that really matters. Good elimination. Good elimination. And what does that mean, good elimination? But I think it's, again, can tie nicely into boundaries, can't it? And kind of ties nicely into, what you're willing to tolerate, and who you're really willing to welcome into your space. This year for me was some elimination, most definitely. I think as we evolve as beings, we really look to what's possible in our own lives, and we look around us and we think, well, who can go on this journey with me? Who's worthy of going on this journey with me? Who's willing to hold space for me? It's not about having loads and loads of friends in this life. It's about having a small circle of people who trust you and you trust them, and to see the vision, that will walk with you, that believe in you, that support you, wholeheartedly as well. But, and there are some people around you that are like that as well. But you've got to remember that if they're not on the same path as you, maybe they might be on a slightly disruptive path, or they might be negative, or they might be displaying toxic behaviour. And this is the big thing, guys, okay, something I learned. If you can't change the people around you, change the people around you. And it's not that you should be trying to change the people around you, because you can't. And I don't think anyone should go around trying to fix or change people, because we do have to just accept that these people are the way they are. But then you have an alternative, right? Because Oprah said it, and when Oprah said it, it kind of resonated with me so much. And she was like, I had to be responsible, not only for my energy, but for the energy I was allowing into my space. And she's like, I had to do a clearing in my life. And I was like, yes, because it's true. We do have to do some clearings in our life. We have to look around and we look at our vision, look at our path. And this is how I see it, right? We're all going up the mountain. Yeah, we're all going up the mountain, and there's so many different paths to go up to the mountain. But the view from the top is the same, more or less. You're up there, it's the same. You're all at the same level once you get to the top. But there are so many different ways that you can get to the top, you know. But some people don't get to the top, you know. They walk halfway up and they go, this is too hard. Or they want the easy option. Or they might take a car up, you know, or whatever, you know. But there's no right or wrong, I guess. Everyone's just doing their own thing to get to where they need to get to in life, you know. And it just depends if there's going to be people with you who are going to walk the path with you, or who are going to limit you from walking that path, who are going to slow you down and that you're going to have to carry. So you have to have that level of discernment in your life and be willing to look at it and say, well, we can't continue on this path together anymore, my friend. I'm sorry. I'm going to have to let you go. With love. You know, I believe that I could have done some things a lot more differently with some of the things that I've had to end in my own life. And there's some regrets, of course. And then we have those. But, you know, we forgive ourselves in that space as well. And we kind of go, I could have done it better. I've learnt my lesson. I'm gonna try harder next time to do it a different way, you know, with more compassion and more empathy and whatever. You know, there's just so many ways that we can end friendships that don't have to be different, and relationships that don't have to be all pain and hurt. You know, it can be ended with love and gratitude. And so I think even those who have hurt us in this life, I think we can sit down and find some space for gratitude, because we learn lessons from those who hurt us probably more than we do from the ones who love us, right? And that's real. Another key for balanced energy would be affection and ability to trust and ability to be vulnerable, which obviously I've talked about, but also sensual, to be in your senses in that level, you know, not necessarily in a sexual way, but just kind of be sensual in what you do, very warm, very kind, kind of giving your all to someone and really letting them feel that you are a genuine person, that you're even your own person, and that you are sure of who you are. It's very comforting, I think, to be around people like that. And if you're not around people like that, do you want to become someone like that? Because I definitely feel that I'm the go-to for a lot of my friends, and when they feel like, you know, they need someone they can come to, and someone who's just going to be real and wonderful and beautiful. I'm joking, you know. So the earth is our root, of course. She is grounding us, and she's just like a strong, vibrant tree. Our earth, she feeds us, supports us, energizes us. Grounding is dynamic and is a dynamic, vital energy, just like the earth's energy. There's always dynamic movement, even in stillness. By attuning our consciousness to the earth, we are also attuning our consciousness to our own body. And this is why being out in nature really, really helps me. Like, I'm interested in going to a friend's for dinner today, and afterwards I said, well, why don't we just get on the bikes and go up to the common and ride around after some dinner when you've eaten a bit too much food, you know, just kind of get that energy moving again, get that stagnant energy after you've eaten a bit too much. Well, I'm trying not to overindulge this Christmas as well. So grounding enables us to ground or send negative and stressful or overwhelming energies into the earth, like a grounding rod. It's such a powerful technique, and that's where meditation can really help as well, of course. Grounding enables us to manifest our consciousness in the earth plane into our physical self. So here is where, like, a lot of your ideas become reality in the here and now. When you're in that space, grounding enables our subtle energies to condense and solidify. So you think about the first chakra, you're thinking about it's creating matter. And the first chakra enables you to focus, unite, simplify, and form, to create mass or matter, to manifest something from nothing. This is where we experience our own individuality in this chakra. Apologies. And we journey upwards through our chakras. We raise our consciousness on a journey back to the source. Yeah, so this is literally where all life begins, because all life begins in the root, and it's where we will always come back to, where we want sense of self and we want sense of connection to source in a physical way. I'm talking about an earthly way, not in a heavenly way, because when we get to the heavenly sort of stuff, we're more up in the higher chakras. But this is really kind of connecting you to earth in a physical manner, yeah, and where all physical manifestation comes from the root. So this chakra is also influenced by our earliest relationship, which I was talking about the support and the relationship I had there. So thinking about your earliest relationship, we were thinking about your mum and dad and thinking about, what they've taught you and what they've taught you to be, and, what your idea of is about life. Now, my mum was very unconscious, and she's still very unconscious to herself, and she's very unaware of who she is as a human being and her potential. Therefore, it was something that she never shared with me. So I went through my whole life very confused about who I was as a being, because my mum wasn't spiritual, wasn't religious at all, nothing, doesn't have a belief in a damn thing. And I think we all need that. We all need a belief in something, and even if it's only in ourselves. And so when I was sharing that a post today on my Facebook, I was talking about three words that I've really appreciated this year that I'd love to also share with you guys. Time. Time is infinite, and there is no real boundaries as to or limits to time. It's never ending. But appreciating time and giving your time and honouring your time and who you give your time to is such a powerful thing. And so I've been spending a lot of time this year with my son, homeschooling him, a lot of time with myself and working on my dreams and creating things, which I've needed to do because I knew that was going to be the foundation of all the work that I was going to be doing for the rest of my life, because this is a lifelong career for me, and this is something that I'm going to be doing, until I can't do it anymore, because this is an extension of who I am. I'm here to raise the consciousness, raise the vibe, make the world a little bit of a better place with the work that I do. And so I'm honoured and I'm humbled, to be honest, to be doing this. I've dedicated time to myself, I've dedicated time to my child. I've also focused on love for myself, love for him, love for life and gratitude, and walking life with love and gratitude, such a powerful thing. And belief that I could do it, belief that I could achieve my dreams, belief that I could step out into a space of unknown and with a little bit of fear and create something that was in line with who I am and what I love to do, which of course is help, heal, raise the vibe, coach, facilitate, here obviously sharing with you guys, doing the podcast, which I hope that will bring and ignite something inside of you guys too, So this chakra, if you receive the unconditional love from one person, that's like one parent. This is why I'm really, I'm really strongly guided to assisting and supporting Tristan as much as I can, because he is an only child. And so if I don't give him enough love and support, he's not really going to get it from anywhere else. He's not got his dad around, and I never had that either. And I don't think it would have bothered me not having my dad around. I think it bothered me my mum not being present too. Because although my mum was there and she supplied my physical needs, my emotional needs weren't really met. And she's very aware of that. But it was her own depression and mental health that, no fault of her own. She had a tough time growing up as well. And I said, we repeat a lot of the things from our parents that aren't necessarily great for us, not necessarily the best things that they can do, but nevertheless I'm grateful that I am here experiencing this life. Now, I've been talking for 33 minutes, and I was trying not to be so long with this, but I guess as you're talking about this stuff, it's really hard not to get carried away with it all. And I love sharing with you about this because I know the difference it can make in people's lives. I've completely turned my life around by learning and having this knowledge. And this, as I said, this is the gift of wisdom. And, if only I could share with you this knowledge and it could help you on your own life journey, then it brings me joy. So I hope you don't mind. I'm going to continue until the next 10 minutes. Might as well. 45 minutes of me. And I can't promise every single day I'll give you 45 minutes. But if so be it. Let it be. So overactive energy. Let's talk about the overactive energy in the root chakra. Now, greed, hatred, angry, addicted to wealth and materialism. So you're egotistic a little bit. So, you're kind of always in that fleshy, you're not connected to your spirit being enough, and it's all about flesh, and it's all about me, and it's all about not really thinking about it. It's all about your desires, and it's not really thinking about who's around you and the cause and effect of who you are as a creator as well. And so you could be focused entirely on genital and sexual. So that means, you're just really focused on connecting with people in that way instead of connecting people more, emotionally and spiritually. It's an overactive energy, and we can bring it in by ways to balance it, like I suggested before: grounding, getting in nature, focusing on meditating, and focusing on who you are as a person. There's a lot of people out there in the world like that, right? And we all know one. And, I can't say that I haven't been in that space either. So, but we learn. There's no right or wrong, but we learn how to be the best version of ourselves, for the people that are around us in our lives, and for our communities. Underactive energy. Now, this is just as common. So, people that lack confidence, people that are weak, people that are self-destructive, completely self-destructive in their own lives, people that can't achieve goals or can't get grounded, or just feet not on the ground. They're kind of like all over the place, and it's very erratic kind of energy. And when you're around these kind of people, because they're never really present. They're never really there. They're never really engaged. They're never really having the conversations with you that, they can have, or that you want them to have with you. But they're just not. They're not anywhere. They're all over the place. They have weak elimination. That means they're not really in control of who they have in their space. They might have the wrong people into the space. So that's where they could probably cause a lot of self-destruction, because, again, not knowing who you are, not knowing your power, and not really setting any clear boundaries. You allow these people to come in to your life, and they can easily take control even. So can't manifest in a physical plane. No matter what they try to do, nothing seems to really go their way. They feel unlovable. They might have very little interest in sex, so completely opposite. They also have this fear of abandonment. Yeah, a massive fear of abandonment, which is I think very, really connected to attachment, and that all attachment will lead to suffering. Something I think I'll do a separate podcast on attachment, definitely. Common addictions: alcohol, sex, and compulsive gambling. Yeah. So I think I've experienced definitely 2 out of 3. I can't say compulsive gambling. I gambled and played the lottery, and I won. So and I still play, but I wouldn't say compulsive. I think compulsive is constantly playing all the time, I suppose, even maybe if you can't really afford to play, things like that. Illnesses, there's quite a few actually connected to the root. Depression, fatigue, chronic fear, prostates, bladders, reproductive, sexual dysfunction. There are others, many others, but even chronic illnesses, autoimmune diseases, it goes on, and there's a whole list. But what I'm putting together for you guys, which will be great, is just a list of all the different chakras and the blockages, because I think it would really help you guys understand a little bit more about what we are creating within ourselves as human beings, because it is self-creating. And I want you guys to know it's self-creating, because if it's self-creating, then you can self-heal, which is the most important thing. And this is what I facilitate. I mean, all my programs are self-healing programs. I don't do any healing on the programs unless that's part of a program that you purchase. I have different levels of programs, but a lot of the programs are self-healing programs. And so I encourage you to have the conversations you need to have with self, and do the clearing that you need to have, do the energy clearing techniques that I show you and demonstrate you in the program. You know, it's so important that we recognize that we are creating this reality, and therefore we are creating everything in it, the good, the bad, the ugly. So even all disease and sickness is something that we've created, which at first the ego doesn't want to know that. And when I tell people that, they get very offended and very defensive, especially people who are experiencing illness and sickness in their body. They don't want to hear that they're creating it themselves. But I've worked with people to really recognise that, but also then to clear it. And I've seen amazing results in people that have been bed bound and completely medicated and on walking sticks, who are now walking and moving and exercising even, and happy and with purpose in their life. And it's amazing. So just to finish up, guys, I've only got a few minutes left. So a couple of other things that I know that will come up: osteoporosis, anxiety, spaciousness, instability, chronic fear, bone and immune-related diseases and disorders, rectal colon cancers, problems with your legs, feet and coccyx, eating disorders, with and obviously malnourishment. Because root is to do with food, and it's to do with survival. Without food, we don't exist. None of us exist. Life doesn't exist without food. So we're looking at the nutrients, the micros, the macros, the exercise, the love to the family, the connection to the family, the support, being able to really know who you are as a person, and then be able to work on that person and then manifest what you need to manifest in our lives. So I hope you've enjoyed today. And I hope it's brought you some knowledge and wisdom and a little bit of an understanding of how the root works. And I thought it was important to do the root today because it is about food, and it is about family, and it is about coming together and supporting each other today. So if you're having conversations with people today and you really aren't feeling supported when you're sharing your stories about where you're at in your life, how can you turn it around so that you do feel supported? Or how can you shut down the conversation so that you don't feel crappy about yourselves? Because you know how everyone wants to interfere in your life, and your aunt wants to tell you this and your uncle wants to tell you that, and everyone wants to give you opinion about who you are and what you should be and where you want to go with your life. Politely just say, yes, I appreciate your feedback, and it's wonderful that you care so much about how I choose to live my life. But this is my life, and I am you. I am not you, and you're not me. And just leave it at that. It tends to normally kind of silence people. It's kind of how I deal with it. I hope that helps. Or you could also just have another glass of wine. Yeah, that's what I said. Go and do that. Well, guys, thank you so much. It's my first podcast of my 12 days of podcasting. I'm so happy that you've been here and you've been listening to me for the past 45 minutes. I'm so grateful, and I want you to have the most amazing Christmas. Lots of love from me and I will see you tomorrow for my second day, and we'll be talking all about the sacral chakra and how you can really create an amazing life that you will love. Okay, lots of season blessings. All my love to you. Mwah. Bye.